Hello and welcome. I am Light and this is my podcast. Hello, Rob.
Hello, Tracy.
How are you today?
Absolutely, unbelievably brilliant.
I'm glad to hear it, Rob. It's about damn time.
Yeah,
And
really, really
are,
living the dream.
are you going to ask me?
How are you, Tracy?
Fucking brilliant. Oops, fucking
Oh,
brilliant. Already. God darn it. I just.
your language is
Anyway,
getting terrible.
it's a little bit like a truck driver. Anyway, sorry about that. I'm brilliant. I'm just lovely. What are we going to talk about today, Rob?
We're going to talk about underwater UFOs.
Underwater UFOs.
Yeah.
Like abductions.
Well, yeah, anything to do with UFOs and underwater. It's pretty self-explanatory, really.
Well, we wouldn't know there was UFOs underwater unless somebody had been in them, right? Or seen them.
As always, you bring all the facts.
All the facts. Which I want to come back to. I want to come back to a fact that I want you to talk about. But before we get started, I want to say this. If you can't imagine living your life without listening to this type of content, please subscribe. And go ahead and click the thumbs up if you like this video already. And if you'd like to be notified when my content goes live, well, go ahead and ring that bell. It's totally free and you will not be punished. Unless you ask for it, that's a whole other channel.
I mean,
Um, Also, we have the 31 Days of Halloween coming up. Come on, people. Start sending me your stories. Start writing. Start recalling your scary paranormal event. I want to put them up on here so that it's a community project. I would love for that to happen. Everybody wants to hear your stories. People are tired of hearing me talk. Rob is. And by people, I mean Rob.
not saying anything. I am not saying anything.
Now, did you or did you not have a friend who had an encounter with a UFO in the water, Rob?
I certainly did. I certainly do. Or yeah, whichever one is.
Can you tell us about this before we get started?
Yeah, it was a friend of mine who's not in the military anymore. He's out of the military, and he was up by Greenland, I think it was, on an exercise um, on the ship. By the way, just to make that apparent. And they were followed by a craft underneath the water. Um, I think it was an orange or yellow light, um, and it kept up with the sea. The seas were quite bad, quite choppy, but it kept pace with them. And obviously, he was the only one that saw it at the time, but other people came. He shouted other people and came down, and they came down and saw it. So he wasn't the only one that saw it. They um, took some photographs on the phones and some footage as well on the phones. But basically, they were told to um, that it didn't happen. They were told that it didn't happen, and I haven't really spoken to him since he's come out of the military. But he absolutely swears that it. Obviously, he wasn't drunk or he wasn't on any illicit drugs or anything like that.
Didn't he
And
send you a photo?
I had did I not show you the photo?
No, you couldn't find the photo.
Yeah, I've had a couple of photos actually. You could see in the water at the side of the ship a probably about 6 or 10 meters down. You can definitely see an orange or yellow light at the side of the ship, and you can sort of make out a disc-like object following the ship, and it was really, really close to the ship as well.
How deep
And
is that for those of us who are in America and we have no idea what that meant?
What do you? If I give it in feet, would that be better?
Yeah.
About 20 feet, 20 foot down.
Okay.
So.
And then you put this photograph up.
I put it on Facebook, yeah, and it got took down. Basically, it got took down on Facebook, and the whole thing, everything got took down. It just disappeared. But it's funny you should mention that because I saw that I'd forgot. I've had a lot of stuff taken down on Facebook to do with UFOs.
Really?
I've had quite a bit of stuff taken down. Yeah, it's a bit weird, that, isn't it? That Facebook will police certain stuff, which at the end of the day, it's just a photograph with a description of what happened. It's not exactly breaking any kind of world rules.
Right. Do you think you still have the photo?
Yeah, I'll have a look for it and try and find it for you.
Okay.
And I'll send it to you. Okay. I'm not going to put it on Facebook again, but I'll send it to you, like email it to you or something. I'll send it through Messenger.
Yeah. Was your friend frightened about this?
What's the sex safe?
Oh, that was nice.
What? No, it's horrible, actually. More intrigued than frightened. Obviously, when they first saw it, there's a lot of adrenaline. Mm-hmm. But later on, afterwards, when they thought back and talked about what they'd seen, before they were told not to talk about it,
right?
I think it's just the implication of what it could be and where it was. I mean, if you're, they're in the middle of nowhere, in the sea.
Ugh, yeah.
And both me and you don't like the idea of deep water.
No, I'm not a fan.
And it obviously wasn't a sea creature, like a whale or a dolphin or I don't think it'd be a dolphin up there or a killer whale or anything like that, because obviously it had a light.
Right.
So yeah.
Well,
I don't think I would have liked to. I don't think I would have liked to have seen it.
No, I don't think I would have either.
Just because of the fact that it was on water. Because obviously
water scares me.
Yeah, me and you are both seen UFOs
on land.
On land, but not so much on the water. I think it would be too scary, a little bit scary. Because you don't know what's down there. You don't know how big it is. You don't know what its intentions are.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Frankly, I don't even want to go on one of those whale watching things because I don't want a whale to jump up right next to the boat, and I'd be scared it would tip over. If it has to do with deep water, just leave me out of it.
Do you ever see that footage of the couple who were on a small yacht watching whales, and one of the whales comes out of the water, not intentionally to hurt the couple or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. It just didn't know the couple were there. And
Uh-huh.
you know, they jump out of the water sometimes, don't they, and go
Yeah.
back in. Well, basically, it came back down on the yacht,
Oh, see, that's what I don't want.
and the yacht basically just disintegrated because obviously the whale was about 3 or 4 times as big as it.
Oh, no.
Yep.
See, that's it. That's the exact reason right there. You're not going to find me on a whale watching anything. I think the whale knew he was there. They have sonic wave things, right?
Maybe it was just pissed off.
Maybe it was.
Yeah,
Okay, so we are each going to do 4 cases of UFO encounters underwater. Is that correct?
that's the one.
All right, so I know you're raring to go for your first one.
Yeah.
So let's
D-
go.
Let's go. Hell yeah.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
um,
By the way, that's Rob's American accent. That's his go-to American accent. Where my British accent is, might I have some tea? And he hates it. So, but hell yeah, that's a good one.
um, yeah, this is one of the cases we've covered a couple of times, but not from an underwater point of view.
Hmm.
Um, I was quite surprised to actually find out that this has got an underwater part to it because it doesn't say it when you first read the description of what happened. It doesn't mention underwater at all. But anyway, excuse me. Betty and Barney Hill. Yes, husband and wife Betty and Barney Hill claimed that were abducted on a lonely road in New Hampshire in September 1961. Their claims were met with intrigue from some, outright ridicule from others. There were several investigations of the case, though, as well as a string of hypnotic regression sessions. Say that when you're drunk. Hypnotic regression sessions. Opinion opinion remains divided as to the credibility of their account today. Under one of the regression sessions, and of interest to us here, Betty makes reference to a strange craft she and her husband had just boarded. They hadn't just boarded it; they were abducted. They didn't have boarding passes and an alien
All
stewardess.
aboard. Might I see your ticket, please?
Well, it's our UFO. It's here now. Anyway, under one of the Betty makes reference to strange craft that her husband had boarded. Oh, they could have worded that better.
Yeah.
Entering the water. She even asked herself out loud, while under hypnosis, if this strange object actually went underwater. In the details that have that has largely been missed aside from several early eagle-eyed UFO researchers, if Betty and her husband were taken under the water after entering the strange otherworldly craft, then it changes it only slightly to the nature of the encounter. Hang on, there's more.
Yeah.
Betty claimed that she had not only been abducted on one occasion, but on several. And what's more, these encounters went back to when she was a young child. One of these early encounters took place in 1950 when Betty was taken from her home. She would soon find herself placed on a wheel-like vehicle that seemed to fly of its own accord. The next thing, it entered the water somewhere off the coast of the United States.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I believe this is a different Betty. Because it's numbered as a different person.
Oh, I apologise, everybody. I am getting me Betty's muddled. So the
Too many Bettys.
Betty and Barney basically just ends. That's it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
everybody.
it.
If you're interested in that one, well, tough, because it just ends.
Okay, well, I'm going to do mine then. Okay. Oops. Gosh dang it. So let's see. Mine is Linda Cortile, and she was abducted and taken into the water of the East River. The alleged alien abduction of Linda Cortile is perhaps one of the more well-known of such cases, mostly because of the person who investigated this case, which was Bud Hopkins. However, it is one specific part of the abduction that is the most interesting. Unbeknown to Hopkins when he first took this case on, Linda Cortile, who claimed that she was abducted from her high-rise New York apartment in November of 1989, was that several people had witnessed the incident from the ground below. On the evening in question, two security guards known as Richard and Dan were driving near the Brooklyn Bridge. Their passenger was eventually revealed to be the Secretary General of the United Nations, Javier Perez de Cuellar. As they were driving, which they said was for no apparent reason, of course, because that's what everybody does, the car engine died. When they got out to investigate, they were shocked to see Cortile along with three strange figures floating through the air. What's more, they were heading towards a disc-shaped object. Once inside, the craft made a sharp turn and crashed into the waters of the East River. In an instant, it was out of sight and below the surface. Several months before the security guards came forward with their information, Cortile, under hypnotic regression, had made some intriguing statements. She claimed that the UFO she was in had come to a sudden stop under the water. What's more, she said that she could see out of a window. She could recall seeing garbage, such as soft drink bottles, on the bed of the water. She was recalling her journey to the depths of the East River. So there you go.
I remember this. Um, I think I remember this incident happening, and I think it was featured on one of the UFO programs that I used to watch. Did
Hmm.
they not? She was quite high up, wasn't she, in her apartment?
Yes, it
And
was let me look again. It was, oh, it doesn't say how high it is. It just says her high-rise New York apartment.
well, supposedly she floated out through the wall. If
Hmm.
it's the same one, they somehow this beam of light took her from her bed and went through the wall and to the
Mm-hmm.
outside. And yeah, and then
They never
everything.
heard of windows. It's supposed to be an intelligent species.
Maybe they were just showing off. I don't know.
Can't we go down through the elevator? The lift.
What is that?
It's my accent.
No, it's. I'm
What?
just looking then, and at my next one, and there's a little picture that's on the page,
Mm-hmm.
and it was for some reason it was someone milking a cow, but
Hmm.
I could only see the top bit, and it didn't look like that. I wondered what kind of bloody She got me on here. So what happened to ham shank?
No. No. Oh my god. I never know where this is gonna go.
Hang on.
Yes, Rob, in between cow fetishes, there's some stories about UFOs. Oh my god, okay. You're up, my friend. You already started it. Let's go back to Betty.
This, from what I can gather, is a different Betty.
Yes.
All mine are called Betty today. Her surname is Anderson. Betty Anderson claimed she claimed this. She had only been abducted on one occasion. No, she'd not only been abducted on one occasion, but on several.
Her last name is Andreessen.
That's the one, Andrew Anderson. And what's more, please stop laughing over what I'm trying to do. I don't want to be taken seriously.
Sounds like you had a pint or five. Betty Anderson.
Well, it is only 6:27 in the morning.
Well,
Even that's early for me. Even that's a bit early for me. No, I like it to be at least I've gone 7 o'clock in the morning, then I'll start on the hard liquor.
you pour it in your cereal?
Pardon?
You pour it into your cereal?
I don't bother with cereal. Just a glass will do. What is going on here? Anyway, so back to Betty. And what's more, these
You had a
encounters went back.
nickel for every time you said that.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Oh my god.
Are you going to let me read this, or should we just move on to the next Betty?
Okay, go ahead. Bessie.
Betsy. And what's more, these encounters went back to when she was a young child. One of the most early encounters took place in 1950 when Betty was taken from her home. She would soon, though, find herself placed on a wheel-like vehicle that seemed to fly of its own accord. The next thing she knew was it entered the water somewhere off the coast of the United States. Even stranger, this underwater vehicle took her to a large aquatic base. Once there, she was taken through to what she would later describe as the Museum of Life. She would claim that they held examples of human beings in strange glass containers from all different eras of history. As we might imagine, this encounter was well as sort of, hang on a minute, I'm getting myself up because of these.
What the hell are you talking about?
It's just having human beings in these glass containers is just were they alive? Were they dead? Well, come on, Betty. Give us some facts. Facts. We need facts. You can't just be making statements like that. As we might imagine, this encounter, as well as others made by Betty, are treated with a pinch of salt. Exactly, that's what I've just said. By many. However, several notable UFO researchers have examined and investigated her claims, which remain some of the most debated in the UFO community. Well, I have to disagree with that because I've never heard of her. And I'm definitely one of the UFO community. So, sorry, Betty. You need to marry someone called Barney, then you really, really would be in a
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm next. Thank Jesus. All right, mine is Filiberto Cardenas.
Cardassian. What was that?
Cardenas.
Oh God, in here. Right.
Cardenas. It's Hispanic. Actually, I think it's like Cuban.
I
Anyway,
thought what's Kim been up to now?
I trying to get her husband under control. Um, he was taken from a lonely Miami road to a large hangar under the sea. So I'm going to read not this page about him, but this one. So there were two encounters with Filiberto Cardenas. So there we go. He was 45 years old. He was driving on the Okeechobee Road in Florida with three family friends just north of the city when his car engine suddenly failed. This seems to be a common occurrence when UFOs are around. Your car engines fail. Might I suggest do not get out of the car?
I'll get a push bike.
Or what?
I'll get a push bike.
What's a push bike?
Like a bicycle.
Oh, okay. Okay. Where was I? He and another man got out of the car to check under the hood when a large luminous object emitting a humming sound descended over the vehicle. I've seen that. The witness vanished in plain sight, with the other two witnessing it. Wait, the witness vanished in plain sight of the others. I don't understand. The witness vanished in plain sight?
I think
Filiberto.
it means that the person who you're talking about vanished in
Yeah.
front of the witnesses in plain sight.
Yeah, the witness vanished in front of the witnesses. He was taken up by a beam of light. He was found dazed 2 hours later and 16 miles away from the location where he was taken from. Later, he recalled being taken up and blacking out. He found himself on board the object, and three human like beings, all dressed in tight fitting white suits, took him to an ocean front like location where they opened a rock that had a lock on it, and they entered through into a tunnel beneath the sea. The beings were of average height, wearing dark, tight fitting outfits that covered their heads, with winged snake like emblems on their chests. They spoke to the witness in Spanish and mainly spoke about coming wars and disasters. He was led to a seat made out of stone and was given a liquid to drink that tasted like honey. A huge door opened in front of him, and several persons began coming out. Cardenas began feeling a strong pressure in his chest, and at this point an individual approached him and told him he was welcomed. The individual appeared to be a human and spoke with a South American accent. Indeed, this man told Cardenas that he was from Earth, that he had lived with the extraterrestrials for a while now. Then he was taken through a small door in a corridor into what appeared to be a great city. He then entered a small room. There he was suddenly sucked into the wall, which then flipped over and became a bed. Cardenas was paralyzed and unable to move, and noticed several figures moving around him. As the light blinded him, something was inserted into his ear. From the wall
Oh,
emerged what appeared to be several arms ending in suction cups that covered his body almost entirely. He said he felt no pain, but he could not move. After the examination, he was taken into another room. There he saw a tall seat and on it was a tall man wearing a cape. He also saw numerous consoles and monitors, which is interesting because that uh, the man we did last week, Travis Walton, said that he went into a room with a tall seat and consoles.
Yeah.
Um, he said that he was shown images of three pyramids joined by a thin ray of light. Cardenas apparently slept several times and was awakened and given several tablets to eat. In another room, he saw several human-like figures wearing gray coveralls. In another room, he saw a large gathering of people in what he thought was a party. So when he was
Ooh.
taken into another room, because aliens just want to have fun. Soon he was taken into another room where he saw a large rocket-style ship in which he was taken into along with three other humans. He was made to sit on a suction-like seat. After a short trip, he was made to exit and given something to eat. He last saw the object disappear in the distance. Cardenas was found disoriented by a police officer in an isolated section of Southwest 8th Street. A medical examination found 108 tiny pricks on Cardenas' body. Days after the encounter, he suffered from severe sweating, extreme thirst, and body temperature changes, as well as a strong sulfur-like smell emitting from him. He also suffered from memory loss, decreased sexual appetite, sorry about that, and strange space-time altering episodes. The second encounter, Filiberto Cardenas, this time he took his wife. Great. That's the kind of husband I want. Wait for this. He felt compelled to return to the site of the previous abduction. There, they both entered a hovering type hovering shaped craft with numerous terminals and buttons inside. Two men and a woman met them there. Each was about 4 feet tall. They were dressed in tight-fitting silvery suits that covered everything except for their faces. The outfits had a serpent-like emblem on the chest area. They had an antenna-like device on their ears. This time the beings communicated with Gardenia via telepathy and spoke among themselves in an Arabic sounding language. They spoke mainly about universal love. Um, so they had they gave him some, um, what am I trying to say? Events that he could foretell that would they hoped would prove to people that he had actually had this condition or this event. But the problem was, um, nobody would believe him. On the evening of January 3rd, 1979, Filiberto Cardenas was in a gift shop in Hialeah when he received a call from his friend Fernando Marti. Fernando asked Filiberto to accompany him to the outskirts of the city to buy a pig from a local merchant, as he wanted to roast it the following morning. In a short time, he appeared at Filiberto's business with his wife Marta and their daughter Isabel, who was at the time 13 years old. Fernando agreed to drive with his friend to stay in the station wagon after Filiberto said that he was tired. They drove to two farms but had no luck finding an available pig. They turned off on every side road, following an arrow that marked the direction, and from there they turned onto another rural road that was in bad condition. As they came to this dirt road, the automobile began to lose power and the engine died. Is this guy a sucker for punishment or what? The
Yeah.
men looked at each other. They got out of the car. Fernando opened the hood. They both looked in, trying to see what was wrong. They could not locate the problem. He returned to the seat and tried to crank the engine again. Nothing happened. Filiberto was in the front of the car, under the hood, nearby the battery. He didn't know much about mechanics. He tried to see if the cables were loose, and then he was they encountered a swarm of bees. At least that's what they thought it was, because the noise they heard sounded like a swarm of bees. The sound was starting out light, and it became noisier and noisier, and it then eventually illuminated the engine, and the daughter, Isabel, was next to her mother crying. The Marty family came to live in Florida from California because they had encountered bad earthquakes. This had left a profound impression on Mrs. Marty, and her first thought upon hearing the noise was that they were having an earthquake. She pulled Isabel down across the seat of the car to cover her with her body as she screamed in panic. The noise ceased and everything seemed to return to normal. Fernando came out from under the hood, looked toward the sky to see a bulky object, which he referred to as a UFO, that ascended and then moved away. Full of fear, remembering that his wife and daughter were still in the back seat, he shouted, "They have taken Filiberto. They have taken Filiberto." Then he got into the driver's seat and tried to crank the engine. After several attempts, um, the engine started, but it ran very poorly, as if it were out of gas. But he did get to leave. They called the police and gave them a description of what happened. Meanwhile, in High, 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 Hialeah, that's it. The police were getting around to go out and search for the missing man when they received this description over the radio. They suspended their search and took Mrs. Cardenas and Fernando and his family into the police station, thinking that it was like, yes, by the way, Rob, thinking that it was like it was a hoax. According to the officials, something was very strange and very uncommon, and it seemed to be happening to Filiberto. On the official report, under type of offense, he wrote, "Close encounter of the third kind." This may be the first time in the United States history that an official wrote a report with the words, "Close encounter of the third kind." The police admitted that an abduction by a UFO had taken place. So that is really strange. He had another encounter that he said that they on the night of February 21st, 1979, Filiberto and his wife Iris could not sleep, and they were both abducted. When they returned to the house, Filiberto called his friend and told him what had happened. That evening, he got a phone call from a local group that said that other people in the Miami International Airport had observed a UFO that very same morning. The messages they told him that the leadership of the Catholic Church would be without its head, the Pope, and that later another time will come. The Pope dies, and then shortly after that, the second Pope also dies. They said that there will be a struggle to designate the one who is not a Roman, and they told him that it would endure for a little time, but that there is a conspiracy against him. After that, there will come one who is not born from Italy. He is going to discover the new world. He is going to come to preach to the new world in their own language. He was told that almost all of the great population of California will all fall into the sea. It'll be from the coastal lands of Eureka to the border of Mexico. And the United States would have a severe illness. He was told this on March 28th, 1983. He was also told that there was an artist who was very famous. In her politics, her husband could become the president of the United States. Here he also had to clarify that this prediction was made before Ronald Reagan took the presidency, and that he believed that it was Ronald Reagan that they were speaking of. They showed them some people on the television, and they were wearing loose fitting short pants. They used something like a small cap on their head, and he got the impression that they were people from another planet, but later continued to watch as if it was a movie. He could see that they were Chinese communists and that they had contact with the people of communist China. He was told that the president of Egypt, Anwar al-Sadat, would be assassinated by a religious fanatic within his own army during a military parade. Anyway, he said that under the command of U.S. General H. Norman Schwarzkopf, the multi-nation coalition of the United States, Saudi Arabia, Great Britain, Egypt, Syria, and France would begin intensive aerial bombardment of military targets in Iraq and Kuwait. And remember,
It's crazy that.
he's making these predictions in 1986. So, I mean, there's a lot. I could go on all night with his predictions. So if you guys want to look it up, go ahead and look his predictions up because there's pages and pages and pages.
That's crazy about the Catholic Church as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I'm back.
you're back. See, I can just keep talking. Rob's not even here. I'm just keeping a conversation with myself and you guys. Okay, Rob, what's your next one?
It's a lady called Catherine Wilson. Perhaps one of the lesser known claims of alien abduction is that of Catherine Wilson. She would speak in depth of her experiences in a book called Alien Jigsaw. When writing of one encounter, she makes claims such as heading downwards at a very steep angle towards the water. The next thing she knew, there was water all around us. That's what happens if you go into the water, Catherine. Anyway, she was thought. She was.
She's a genius.
She was though protected from it because you were inside a vessel. Anyway, she was though protected from it and soon realised that she was in a strange glass-like tunnel or tube. What's more, this tunnel was heading downwards deep under the sea. Perhaps even stranger than that, she would further claim that on another very similar occasion, when the strange object was on board finally, the strange object that she was on board finally surfaced from the water, she was transferred to. Well, this is a bit ironic considering how we started. Transferred to a military navy vessel. This would, if you assume the accounts to be authentic, suggest that at least some partial involvement of the military in alien abduction cases.
Interesting. It really is interesting.
Yeah. But we talked about this the other week, though. I do believe that the military, or some parts of the military, are involved in partnership with extraterrestrials, and Yeah, I do believe that.
Well, especially, I mean, I think that since they just announced that there are UFOs, that lends credit to that theory. Which is why one of the reasons why I wouldn't call when I saw mine, because I was like, I don't need the Air Force Base coming on me. No, thank you. Just be a little secret between me, the Air Force Base, and the aliens, and Uncle Mike, who we can write him off.
And now everybody on YouTube knows.
Yeah, and everybody on YouTube sharing my deepest, darkest secrets. Okay, so the next one is Anna Jamerson, and she was not sure if her alien abductors took her under the water. In her book Connections, Anna Jamerson would describe several apparent alien abduction encounters, and although they were not as direct as some on this list, the details she would offer are very suggestive of underwater activity. For example, one encounter she writes of speaks of how she was in a strange craft when she first noticed a huge ocean liner coming at me bow first. The next thing she knew, it appeared the ocean liner was above her, or more to the point, that she'd been taken under the surface of the water below it. Perhaps the most startling detail, though, is that when she writes of being in such a craft before entering a long tunnel with soft sides, this has been a theme throughout many of these, is that there's a long tunnel underneath there, which if you think about it, it makes sense if there was a long, clear, jelly-like tunnel, like you were talking about Dovestone. You wouldn't be able to see it when just looking down, and it wouldn't probably. I'm sure they have technology show up on any kind of a radar.
Can I just? I know you're in the middle of doing what you're doing, but do you know when I was talking about the dove stones thing last week?
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to describe the colour and the pattern of. Well, I was watching. This is complete. Don't laugh. But I told you that we got that Disney Plus, and I've been watching all the Marvel films,
Mm-hmm.
and there was. I can't remember which one it was, which one of the films it was, but they have these helicarriers that go up in the sky, and they once it gets up in the sky, they say, "Let's go. We're going to go invisible," and it's like all these little um, discs sort of reflect the outside, so you can't actually see the helicarrier anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so similar
Hmm.
to um, to what I saw. Not exactly the same. I'm not trying to say
Mm-hmm.
that, but really, really similar. Because when I was watching, I had to pause it on that bit and it was just crazy. Just,
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe. Um, I don't know. But just thought I'd
Hmm.
mention it. I mean, I was going to mention it to you anyway, but I forgot. But then you reminded me then.
Well, did you see the comment left on our one of our videos last week about the fish they found that's so black that it doesn't? Uh, Tell me if I'm wrong here, Marcus. It doesn't reflect light, so it looks invisible. It sucks up maybe it does reflect. It sucks up the environment around it and turns itself into look just like that. So it's like an invisibility cloak. Oh, you didn't watch Harry Potter, but um, if you put it up against, like let's say you set this fish up in a field of flowers, it would look like it was part of the field of flowers. It just assumes the identity of it, what's around it.
Yeah, That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that's another reason why I don't like deep water. No, thank you.
No.
Um, okay, where was I? Let's see. Um, hold on a second. Okay, so what's more, there appeared to be a green light at the end of this soft-sided tunnel, where the soft sides actually water around the tunnel, like the glass-like tunnels described by Katarina Wilson. I think you're going to be talking about Katarina Wilson. These revelations were made under hypnotic regression. Now, I gotta say, a lot depends on whether you believe in hypnotic regression. Do you believe in hypnotic regression?
Um, I do, but the only thing that, yeah, I do. There is a chain of thought that you're in a very suggestible state while you're being regressed. So um, you could basically, the person that's doing the hypnosis could plant seeds.
Mm.
Did you see the alien?
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's very suggestible. It's like um, when you talk. No, I won't use that comparison. Yeah, I think it's very suggestible. You've got to be really careful. I think the person that is doing the hypnosis needs to be a skeptic and maybe not
Yeah.
be um, suggestible and be wanting to prove that UFOs really exist
Yeah.
because they can plant stuff in your head that.
I really could not imagine myself being somebody that could be hypnotized. I I don't even like to drink alcohol because I don't want to feel like I'm not fully in control of all my thoughts and actions. So I can't imagine me like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna relax here so much that you can control my brain.
I don't like the idea of it either.
No, I don't. Anyway, but I mean, I really don't. I don't know. My mom says that she used to go into hypnotism, go and be hypnotized, but she was crazy. So anyway, I don't know if I believe her or not. And can you suggest that somebody was hypnotized and they believe that they were? So I don't know. I don't know. As always, I am a skeptic. Tell us below. Do you guys believe in hypnotism? Um, and if so, do you have a particular reason why that you do? Have you seen something that made you think that it must be true? These revelations were made under hypnotic regression. However, at this crucial point, the therapist conducting the session directed her away from the green light. This means that Jamerson, like the rest of us, remains ignorant of what the encounter might have actually been or where it took place. Why did she do that?
Oh,
That seems suspicious. Why didn't she go to another one? That seems suspicious. Why would you stop in the middle of it and be like, and then we took a left into the field of poppies? Poppies.
you say poppies or poppies?
Poppies. I keep forgetting that you've never seen The Wizard of Oz. I need
But
you to see
by
this so you get my references.
I think I'll watch it. I'll get it on DVD and watch it.
You really should. And then when I say poppies, poppies, You'll know what I'm saying.
Hmm.
It'll help us communicate more, Rob. That's
Maybe I
what
won't
our
watch it.
therapist said we need to work on. Okay, what is your next one?
Orlando George. Her.
Oh no. Let me see what this guy's name is.
It looks like Ferrari, but with a D in it. Um,
Orlando Jorge Ferrati.
Jorge. Where does it say Jorge?
Jorge, that's his middle name.
It's
That's
not. It's
Jorge.
George.
No, it's Jorge.
It's my story. He's called George.
No, it's actually Jorge
Okay, Orlando
Ferrati.
Jorge Ferrudi.
Ferrati.
Ferrari. Bloody Americans. What's wrong with them?
Let's see, is he
Anyway,
from? Is he Hispanic? Yes, he's from. Okay, so yes, it's Jorge. The Y is. Trust me on this. It's Jorge. Wait, no, it's Jorge.
so if I was in America now and I was in Texas and I bumped into Mr. Jorge and he
Yeah.
spelled his name and I said Orlando George, would that be insulting him?
Well, I don't think it'd be insulting him, but to continue to call somebody by the wrong name would be rude.
See, Jorge sounds like it should begin with a H.
Yes, but it's think about this. Do you know how they spell Jesus?
Jesus.
Yes, the J is an H.
The only reason I know that is because Manchester City have got a player called who's Jesus or whatever, and it's
Jesus.
Jesus, and he has Jesus on the back of his shirt. That's the only reason I know that.
No, he has well, that's interesting. But his name is Jesus. The
He's
J sounds like an
Brazilian.
H. Yes, you think so. His his name is Jesus, and this guy's name is Jorge.
Okay, Jorge. Although there are discrepancies on the dates of the incident, with some sources stating it's 1956, while others quote 1965. Well, that's quite a big difference, but there you go.
Yeah.
The alien abduction encounters of Orlando Jorge Ferrudi is one of the most intriguing on record. According to Ferrudi, he was approached. he was approached by a 7-foot humanoid figure in a shiny, tight-fitting overall while night fishing on the beach in Argentina. He was taken on board a disc-shaped craft and flown under the surface of the water. He would be eventually taken under the Gulf of Mexico to a giant underwater dome. Ferrudi would further state that the underwater facility looked like a giant igloo. It,
Hmm.
it was, his host informed him, the base to recondition our ships. Sorry. They would also inform him that genetic experiments were taking place with humans in such facilities for thousands of years. What's more, the Earth is seen as a zoo, a zoo-like planet to other alien races,
Hmm.
although the universe, all through, hang on, so other alien races throughout the universe. Even more bizarre, all life on Earth was, in some way, part of these genetic experiments, and they had their origins on other worlds. Well, that's very, very disrespectful.
Yeah.
We're just used. We just zoo animals, basically.
Well, you know,
I
some
am eating a,
people.
I am eating a banana, but that's besides the point.
Well, As long as
I'm
you're
not.
not throwing your poo at the neighbors.
Oh, I don't want to do that on a Friday. Um,
All right. Now here's a name I don't know. No, I got this. Was Fred Valentik's vanishing a case of aquatic alien abduction? The disappearance of Fred Valentik in 1978 could fill an entire volume in its own right, perhaps not least as it remains unsolved over 40 years later. There remains debate still to this day as to just what happened to the young pilot from the southeast of Australia. It is, though, a case that UFO researchers have long claimed to be one of alien abduction, and one that possibly involved an underwater base somewhere under the seas of the Bass Strait. It was while Valentik was flying over this mysterious stretch of water. Why is this a mysterious stretch of water? Because I did a story the other day that had something to do with the Bass Strait. I can't remember what it was. Um, that he radioed the control tower. He would state that there was an unknown object flying over the top of him, and it was obvious he was panic stricken. Several minutes after the transmission, he claimed that whatever the object was, it was not an airplane. Then he simply vanished. The last sound of the control tower was heard was a chilling screeching of metal on metal. A huge search of the region went ahead, but there was no sign of Valentik or his plane ever found. Of even more interest, several witnesses in the region reported seeing a strange object around the same time as Valentik's radio calls.
excuse me.
One of the most intriguing was that of Roy Manifold, who would even capture a photo of this strange object. It was, though, the claims of his son Jason that were of most interest. He would state that after his father had returned inside, he remained where he was, listening to a plane somewhere off in the distance. Then, as if someone had turned it off, the plane went suddenly silent. Was Valentik a victim of alien abduction? And if so, was he taken to one of the strange facilities that many researchers believe are deep under the surface of the Earth's oceans?
I've actually seen this case on a lot of programs, UFO programs, and
Uh-huh.
a lot of people think that he um, just wanted to get away. He was trying to um, disappear because the route that he was flying, he'd flown it loads and loads of times before. I think it was like a 45-minute journey or an hour's journey or whatever, however long.
Huh.
And he obviously would go the same way every time. And a few of the neighbours or a few of the people had seen his plane
Uh-huh.
at this particular time, and they saw it flying over, and then all was, it's it's a bit dodgy, this one, I think, Trace, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
That's no reflection on your wonderful, wonderful way that you described everything what went on, but I do think it's a little bit dodgy.
Huh. Well, it could be.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm.
Well, that is my last story.
I think I've done all mine as well. Yeah, because
Okay.
yeah, we don't we don't have to end the podcast there though, do we?
Well, what else do you want to talk about, my friend?
Well, funny you should ask that. We're not allowed to talk about a certain president, are we?
No.
Okay. Can't talk about him. What about Boris? Should we talk about Boris?
Yeah, I don't really know much about Boris.
Do you know how would you feel about this if this was, well, I can't even say because it probably wouldn't be the most ridiculous thing to come out of his mouth. But Boris has said because he got the coronavirus, didn't he? And he got better
Right,
from the coronavirus.
right.
And since he got better, he's been doing lots of running because he was quite overweight, Boris, and
Right.
now he's lost loads of weight. Um, and he's put a thing in the paper saying that if you're fat, you've got more chance of dying from the coronavirus. So
Right.
everybody needs to lose weight. Oh,
Right.
cheers,
Well,
cheers, cheers, Boris. What if you can't run and you haven't got any legs? What are you supposed to do,
but
Boris?
that is one of the underlying conditions.
Yeah. Oh well.
Well, um, as obviously Halloween's coming up, and
Ooh.
I have a new, baby grandson whose parents were stoked to get his first Halloween costume, but it's gonna be kind of pointless. And then first Exolite baby, Desmond. Well, this is the year that would be really cool for him to start trick or treating because he'll be a year and a half, but he's just. I know I sound like just a proud family member, but he's really brilliant, and I think he would really like it. He's not afraid of anything because his dad, my son, like, okay, he sings Baby Shark, but in like a hard metal kind of a way to him.
Baby
The
Shark.
Baby Shark is this. Oh, you're so lucky. Baby Shark is a song goes. Baby Shark, da dun da dun dun dun. Baby Shark, da dun 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 dun. Wanna shoot myself, da dun dun dun. Baby Shark, and they play it all the time for him. But my son sings it like Baby Shark, da dun dun, and Desmond just belly laughs, and they'll say to him, like, "Hey, uh, rock out," and the kid puts his arms in the shape of like an air guitar and then bangs his head. Puts his head back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he's 18 months old, so I think he's gonna fit in all right. I don't think we're gonna have to ask for a refund on that one.
Oh dear.
But I don't think we're. I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't send my child from house to house. I like to have some COVID.
Put him
Would
in
you
a hazmat
mind giving
suit.
me some COVID? Every
Maybe,
every every costume has a mask. Like you're going as a pretty princess, and you have to wear a vampire mask.
maybe the new Halloween costume could be a hazmat suit.
Everybody's wearing one, even the parents.
Yeah.
That reminds me of ET for some reason. I don't know. What's really strange is, you know, 7, 8 months ago, I never thought that I would find myself looking on Amazon for quote unquote cute face masks. Like
Yeah.
what? How has my life changed? My my daughter went to Target the other day, found laundry disinfectant, and it was like she had called and said she had seen Jesus walking on water. We were that excited. Life has changed.
Yeah. Just think if you had a business before COVID came out, making face masks, and you were just going to go bump, and now you're probably a millionaire.
Yeah, well, everybody and their dog started making face masks. I bought three. I bought three from Levi. Do you know what
Ooh,
Levi is?
jeans.
Yeah, they're using their extra denim to make face masks now. How brilliant was that? Pretty brilliant. Everybody, all these like movie stars. Am I boring you?
No, sorry, it's early in the morning here.
It's early in the morning there. What time is it here? It's to like I don't know what time is it. 1:15. That's I'm just getting started, baby.
Okay, baby.
Baby. See, that's American.
What?
To say baby at the end of a sentence.
People say babe here.
They say babe.
Yeah, hey, babe.
Oh,
Hey,
no.
hey, babe.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. I don't know.
Anyway,
All right, Rob.
all right, Chase.
If you would like to give this video a thumbs up, go ahead. Why not? It's free. Doesn't hurt anybody, but it does make me feel better. If you would like to subscribe, go ahead. That's also free. If you'd like to be notified when my content goes live, when Rob is going to yawn, go ahead and click that bell and send me your stuff. Send me your stuff for Halloween. 31 days of Halloween. 31 days of content. I can't believe it's this close.
I know. It's
It's
crazy, isn't it?
crazy. Yeah. I don't know what happened to this year. It started off like January felt like a snail's pace. It just kept going on. Like January just would not leave. And then February was like, oh my God, is this still January? And then March went clear into June. And then
Yeah.
boom. I went and bought Halloween decorations the other day. Like, what? It's been a
I
weird
can
year.
remember.
It's been weird.
I can remember hearing about the coronavirus in China and thinking it's it's just one of them things. It's not going to come over here. It's going to be just one of them things that just
Hmm.
it just fizzles out on the news and we don't hear anything else about it.
Yeah.
And then it got more and more and more, and then Italy, and then
Yeah.
Spain, and
Yeah.
oh, it's
Italy went downhill.
getting a bit close this coronavirus. Italy, yeah, getting a bit close now. And
Since
then
marching over here.
and all of a sudden we're on lockdown.
I liked it. I like it lockdown. It makes, I don't
Yeah,
know, make me feel safe. People walk around breathing on me. It doesn't make me feel safe. In fact, it makes me feel the opposite. So, yeah, I remember there was like two people in Washington State, which is where my dad lived, and they were like, "Oh, there's two people in Washington State," and everybody was flipping their lid and buying all the toilet paper in the world. And I just had a conversation with somebody, um, and her and I were like, "What? I don't understand. What is the deal?" She's like, "I'm in line at the gas station and I can't even get gas. Why are you panicking about two people?" And and then a couple days later, we were taking a road trip to see my oldest son, and we went to the store to get water and to take, because it's a 20-hour drive. So we were taking food and water and stuff with us, and like all the toilet paper, all the paper towels, everything in the world, all the soups, everything was off the shelves. We were afraid that when we came back a week later, there'd be no food. I live in a I don't know how to explain it, but there's other people who live here, and they were offering to. We have somebody who will go grocery shopping for us, but they were offering to go grocery shopping for me and keep the food at the house until I could get back, which was really really sweet. People started off being really really nice and kind to each other about it until they, I don't know, until they were like, but I want to go to a restaurant.
Oh, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm just laughing because people are just not funny.
I know. I know. It's so, I don't know. Well, and then that woman, her and I are no longer friends anymore, so, no big loss. She told me that my dad dying was that sometimes some people are doomed. And I was like, huh, maybe it's time to reevaluate our friendship. Okay, done.
Oh,
All right, Rob, I'm gonna let you go.
okie dokie.
All right, you have a good day and good morning to everybody.
Yeah, good morning, good night, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are.
Whatever. And we'll see you around.
Bye bye.
Bye.